Welcome to Dream Vision 7 Radio Network, their live YouTube event, which is me today. And I'm so honored and grateful to be here. What I want to talk to everybody about is, well, it's kind of a combination of things, but it's all related to using experts to help, using experts to help us grow, using experts to help us learn. No matter how good we think we are, we can always, and I do mean always, benefit from somebody else. So, to start off with, I am Lora Cheadle. I have got a regular show on Dream Vision 7, which is called Flaunt, Build Your Dreams and Live Your Sparkle. And it is aired every Wednesday at both 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you haven't already done that, please tune into that show sometimes because it's fun and we talk about all sorts of exciting things. And also, I love your feedback. I love hearing what you have to say. I love it when you have new ideas, when you challenge me, and it makes for a much more fun and interesting show sometimes. So please reach out to me if you ever want to discuss things. And you can reach me, Lora, Lora, at pyramid, pyramid, fusion, fusion.com. So that's Lora at pyramidfusion.com. But to get into today, experts. Okay, first, maybe you have had this experience where somebody like a friend or a coworker is telling you about a problem and you're like, I know exactly what to do. That's so simple. Oh my gosh, let me tell you, all you need to do is blah, 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 blah. And you see things really clearly, but they're so confused. And sometimes if you're like me, you even wonder, why is that so confusing for them? That is the most obvious solution out there, but they can't seem to see it. And that's why they come to you as their friend to say, oh my gosh, what do I do? What's going on with this? They come to you to get that outside perspective. And that's what a good friend does. But that's also sometimes what a good counselor or a good coach or a good leader or even a good boss does. They give you that outside perspective, and it allows you to kind of suspend your judgment to get out of the muck and to learn and to grow and to see things clearly. Now, this show is about using experts and gurus and teachers, yes, but sometimes just another person can serve as that expert, that guru, or that leader, just by virtue of the fact that they are not you. They are not emotionally invested the same way you are. They don't have the same fears or concerns that you do, so they've got a more clear perspective. Now, if you are going to somebody who is an expert, say a counselor, a therapist, a social worker, somebody like that, you can talk to them about things. You can even talk to them about things that you know, but they know a little more. They know things from a different perspective. For example, the stages of grief. Most people, I think, have probably heard about the stages of the grief. And even if they don't know exactly what they are, it's like, oh yeah, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, there's stages in the grieving process and we all go through them. And people kind of know that. But when you yourself are going through grief, it's hard to figure out where you are. And it's hard to get out of your heart and out of your pain sometimes and identify, oh, this is a normal stage that I'm going through. I'm going through the bargaining phase and I understand what I'm doing and it's normal. And it's not that it gets you out of that phase, but it does help you feel better about it. And that's something a counselor can do because they have that knowledge, or social worker or whatever. They've got that knowledge in their head. These are the stages of grief. It's normal to flow through them. It's normal to, bounce back and forth, to be in this one. And then they can kind of point that out to you. And again, not that it takes it away, not that it takes your grief away, but it does help you realize on a cognitive conscious level where you're at and what's going on. And then you just start feeling better about it. So a friend can help you identify it's okay. A counselor or a therapist can give you that cognitive piece. Hey, this is where you're at on the spectrum. Expect to bounce through. Next, you're going to feel this way. After you feel that way, you're probably going to feel this way. And then you can kind of go, it's normal. It stinks, it's uncomfortable, it's painful, but it's normal. Now, along these same lines, expanding yourself, getting out of yourself, teachers, gurus, masters. We are all experts ourselves. We can all teach something. We're all masters at something. We are all experts at something. But that doesn't mean that we need to quit, because nothing in life is ever static. Life always changes. New information is always being discovered. If you look back through history at the things we thought medically, we thought leeches were a great idea at one point. We thought bloodletting was a great idea. If you think about what we thought about the earth, the earth was the center and all the planets rotated around it. Think about all of the discoveries that we have discovered. Think about all of the philosophies that have changed. Very few things are fixed. Really, nothing is fixed. Even when we think something is fixed, something always comes in and interrupts it. We have a new method of carbon dating. Carbon dating is a newer method. We have all these different methods of doing things. Even if you think about things like crime, we used to do things like footprints. Now we have the DNA stuff, and we're able to go through and do, DNA matching. Things are always moving. Things are always progressing. So no matter how much of an expert you are, there is always room to learn. And the reason I started off with kind of the example of a friend or a therapist giving you that outside perspective is that's really what learning is it's getting a perspective that's not you. It's getting out of your own head, getting out of your own heart, getting out of your own environment. And it's causing you to expand because you know something different. Or at least you're challenged to think about something different. Learning new information, working with a teacher or a guru or a master can also help solidify your own beliefs, your own methods. So it's not always that they change them. They can also help solidify what you do know, and it can make you better at whatever it is that you are an expert at. Now, in my radio show this week, I talked about this a little bit, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time here, but I talked about the fact that I have been teaching fitness classes, don't laugh, since 1988. Yeah, I started teaching fitness classes when I was in school, and I've been teaching in one form or another ever since. So I am definitely a fitness expert. There's no question about it. I've done continuing ed every year since 1988. Not only have I done formal continuing ed, but because I'm passionate about fitness, because I enjoy fitness, I also seek out a lot of information on my own. And I take online little tutorials, I read books, I do all of this stuff that's also not formal education. So truly, if there's something going on with fitness, I know it. I'm an expert. However, I kid you not, every single time I do a class or read a book, I learn something else. Fitness is about the body. Sure, the body is complex, but it's not that complex. Sure, fitness methods change, but really there's only so many ways to get your heart rate up. There's only so many ways to lift weights. But even with that, I'm always learning more because new ways are constantly being developed to challenge the body, new theories, new methods of testing. So I, even though I am an expert, am constantly learning more. And I'm also refining my own methods and learning things that I do really well and learning things that I'm not that interested in. And there's a whole lot of change and growth that happens, even though I am the expert. Now, I want you to think about this in terms of parenting. If you've ever had kids, you know kids are not static. They start off as little babies and they grow into adults and they change. And methods of parenting change too. And if you were ever a parent, maybe you can relate to this. You finally get the hang of it. Yay, this is what I need to do. This is how I motivate my kids. This works. And then they're not two anymore and it doesn't work. And then you get a handle on it and you're like, yes, I haven't figured out. This is what they eat. This is what they like to wear. This is what time they go to bed. And then they're 4 and it doesn't work anymore. And then you get it all figured out for a 4-year-old and then they're a 5-year-old. And then you get it all figured out for a 12-year-old and then they're 14 and it doesn't work. Parenting is not static. To me, parenting is one of the best examples of how life is not static and how you always need to update your information. Now, again, I like classes. I took parenting classes. I loved it. I read parenting books. I talked to people. I constantly sought out somebody to teach me. Teaching in the form of classes, lessons, books, whatever. Yes, I sought that out. But also, this is where kind of a guru comes in or a master. I also looked to people that I admired. I looked at other people's parenting skills and I looked at things that they did. Whether it was at school and seeing how teachers got the attention of the students or worked with the difficult students, but also other parents who really seemed to have a great connection with their kids. I would look at them and be like, what is it that they can show me? What can they teach me? How can they be my guru? And it's not always that I formally went up to them and said, oh my gosh, you're the best looking parent. Your kids really respond to you. How do you do this? But it was more watching. Oh, look at that. That is a tip that I'm going to try. That's a trick that I'm going to try. If that worked with her son, I wonder if it'll work with my son. And that's the difference between a teacher and a guru. A teacher is somebody who can impart knowledge to you. They may or may not be in your exact situation. I think most people who have written parenting books or teach parenting classes are indeed parents, but they probably are not parenting at the same place you are parenting in that moment. So they are teaching you information that in theory works for a lot of people. Same thing with fitness and weight loss. I can teach you the general theories of how to build muscle. I can teach you the general theories of how to lose weight. It may or may not work for you specifically. I can teach you how to lose 10 pounds. I can teach you how to lose 50 pounds. I myself have never lost 50 pounds. I can't be your guru. A guru is somebody who has walked the path and they can help guide you along that same path. So I can teach you how to lose 50 pounds, but I can't be your guru because I haven't done that myself. I've lost 10. I can be a guru and a teacher for 10 pounds, but not for 50. So same thing with parenting. I can teach you what I did with my kids. I can pass the knowledge and the information that I gleaned from these books and these classes and from watching people onto you. But I never had girls. I had 2 boys. So I can't be your girl guru. I can't be like, oh my gosh, teenage girls, I've got that covered. Let me show you what I did. I can teach you what I know, but I'm not your guru because I did not walk that path. I did walk the path of 2 boys. I can so be your boy guru. That I can do. That's the difference between a teacher and a guru. A guru has done it. They have done exactly what you're doing, and they can take your hand and pull you along the path with them. A teacher is somebody who imparts knowledge. Use both. Use both. Find people who have done exactly what you have done, both successfully and not successfully. There's so much to be learned in failure. It's not really failure, but there is so much to be learned in not getting it right. Because when you don't get it right, then you go, okay, that's not going to work. I will try something else. It gives you that breadth of experience. Now, I also mentioned master. Master is a little bit different. A master is, how to phrase it? There's the teacher element, there's also the guru element, but there's also just that higher level element with seeking a master. It's more esoteric wisdom. It's more broad range instead of one specific problem. If somebody comes to me for weight loss or building muscle, I can teach them what to do. Certain things I can be the guru. But the master element of weight loss and fitness is more the whole body, mind, spiritual connection. I can be your master in feeling how it feels to move, feeling how it feels to breathe, connecting my body to my mind. So it doesn't matter what I look like, it matters what I feel like. It matters what I can do. It matters how I can stretch. It matters how comfortable I feel in my own skin. And that's kind of that master element of things. And like I said, we need all of them. We need people to tell us, do this. Steps A, B, C, and D. We need people to say, I did it. Let me hold your hand. Let me support you. With a guru, sometimes it's not even necessarily giving the steps. It's holding space. It's holding your hands and saying, come on, you're going to be okay. Sure, sit down and cry. That's fine. Throw a tantrum. That's fine. Turn your back. That's fine. But you keep going. And then the master level is that full integration. Why are we doing this? Why do we care? Why do you want to be a good parent? Why? Do you want it easier in the short run? Do you want a more centered, balanced household? Do you want to create amazing kids for the future who have great lives? Why are you doing it? And whatever your answer is, it's fine. It's just important to know, why are you doing it? Because that's that master level connection. And then that helps us suspend our current needs in the moment so we can reach ahead and get to the higher good. If your reason for being a good parent is because you want a good night's sleep, and that's fine. But if that's your reason of doing it, the methods that you might use to get your kids to sleep through the night are different than if your ultimate goal is to get your kids to self-soothe and sleep through the night. Same thing, you want a kid to sleep through the night, different reasons. If you want your household to be peaceful in the moment, you might want to teach your kids, listen to me at all costs. Whatever I say is law. Do not question me. It's a peaceful household. Do it. Bam. But if your goal is to have kids who think and to reason and to process as adults, you might raise them differently. You might say, never do exactly what I say. If it feels wrong, question me. If I'm asking you to do something, question me. And I'm happy to explain it, because I don't want you to grow up and be the kind of person who follows rules for no reason. I want you to be a really thinking, questioning adult. So what is your goal? Whatever your goal is going to determine what you do. And because this was the kind of parent I was always telling my kids, please question me. Don't just do it because I say to do it. Question me if it sounds weird. I might be off base. I might not be off base. I might have a reason. I might not have a reason. Question me. That's fine. I'd rather have you question. That made it more difficult in the moment Oh, trust me, that made it more difficult in the moment. A lot of times that made it more difficult in the moment because I'd say, come here and let's do this. And they'd say, why? And I would go, oh, just because I said it. But knowing that I wanted to raise humans who did question authority made it easier for me to suspend my discomfort in the moment. It made it easier for me to take a deep breath and be like, okay, this is what I want from them. This is what I'm going to do. And then I would let them question me, and then I would explain, and then we would have that back and forth. It was easier for me to suspend my discomfort in the moment because I had that long-term goal in mind. Okay? Same thing with fitness, whether it's weight loss or whether it's building muscle. Sometimes you get hungry. Sometimes you're tired. Sometimes lifting weights is heavy and it hurts. What is your goal? It's easier to push through if you have that long-term goal and you know what, in the long run, this is going to be great. Okay, I'm mildly hungry now. I'm going to eat in 30 to 40 minutes. I can suspend this discomfort for 30 to 40 minutes for the ultimate goal of losing this weight that I want to lose, because ultimately that's going to make me happier. So that is that master level of thinking. That is that connection of the what and the why and the how this whole thing works. And it helps having that master out there who can help walk you through it on a mental level, because we all know it. It's just that we forget it sometimes. And that's the beauty, I think, of using a coach or a counselor or whatever. I do life coaching. This is my thing. And this is mostly what I do with people, is I help them walk through and figure out where they stand right here, where they want to be, and how we're going to get there. Do you need a teacher to teach you the steps? Maybe so. Do you need a guru who has walked your path and can hold your hand and bring you along and offer you emotional support and really feel with you? Or do you need that higher level master to come in and help you with all the whys and the hows and the becauses, and to help you filter through the reasoning, and to help you filter through what kind of teaching and what kind of steps and what might be good? Or do you need all three? Or does it really depend on the moment? That is the value of a coach. That is the value of an expert, no matter how much of an expert you are. I want you to take a couple of minutes and I want you to think about all the things that you're really, really good at. And if you're in a place where you can speak out loud, please speak out loud, because saying this changes the energy vibration around you. And we're going to go into the energy vibration of things next. I want you to say, I am an expert at, and then say it. And I do mean say it out loud. I am an expert at fitness. And as you're thinking about this and as you're saying it, I'm just going to say a couple of things out there too, because I want you to feel how it feels. I am an expert at fitness. I am an expert at coaching. I am an expert at female empowerment. I am an expert at raising boys. I am an expert at keeping my house clean. I am an expert at friendship. I am an expert at having fun and playing. I am an expert at reading. Now, I hope you've said a few things, and I want you to see how they feel. I want you to feel them in your body. You are an expert. Don't you dare tell me you're not an expert at things, because everybody is an expert at things. Notice I said I'm an expert at keeping my house clean. Oh yeah, I can keep it clean. I don't enjoy it, but I know how to do it. What are you an expert at? Say it and feel it. Because the energy around owning your own expertise is huge, especially for women. I said I'm an expert at female empowerment, and we're going to kind of go down that route a little bit right now. Women are taught from an early age on not to brag. You don't want to talk about yourself. You don't want to brag, which is so damaging because it makes us always be like, oh, no, 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 I'm not that great. Oh, no, 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 no. And when we're saying, oh, no, 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 we're saying you have to tell me. We're saying I can't validate me for me. I can only validate me if you validate me. Oh, you look great today. No, I don't. You did so good on that. No, 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 no. It wasn't that hard. Think about the energy in that versus the energy of saying, I am an expert. I am an expert hypnotherapist. It feels solid. Say something for you. Feel how it feels. I am an expert at. It's solid. It's grounded. Now, flipping that around, think of somebody telling you you're good at it. And feel if you want to deny that. No, I'm not. No, no, no. This whole thing, think about the energy in that play of that versus, thank you. I know. I do look great. That was a fantastic article I wrote. And that's kind of your challenge moving forward from this. Yes, we're talking about using teachers, gurus, and experts, and that no matter how much of an expert, we constantly need people to feed us, to challenge us. But part of that, the other side of that same coin, is owning our own expertise, because we all are masters, we all are gurus, and we all are teachers because we've had life experience. I don't care what your life experience is, it has given you experience. It has made you a master at something. I said I'm a master at cleaning my house. I'm also a master at laundry. I'm a master at loading the dishwasher. It doesn't matter what it is. You are a master of something. Did you raise kids? Do you have friends? Do you organize things? Do you work? What are you a master at? Own that. Sit in your own power and own your own expertise. And then once you own that own expertise, you can grow from there. I'm an expert at laundry. Great. Can I still learn more? Of course. I spilled curry down my white shirt the other day. I cannot get it out. I had to Google some stuff. It's not going to work. I'm just going to have to replace the shirt, which is really sad. But the point is, I've been doing laundry forever. I know how to get stains out. I still Googled how to get curry out because even my little bleach pen was not getting the curry out. That's okay. I'm learning. On the laundry front, my son also washed a pen that broke and there was ink all over. And I Googled that too. I knew hairspray would get ink out because, see, I'm an expert. I own my laundry expertise. But then when I Googled it, I found out it was alcohol in the hairspray that got the ink stain out. So that if you use rubbing alcohol or even hand sanitizer, because it's got a lot of alcohol in it, you can help release the stain too. It's the alcohol. So I was the expert in that I was like, oh, honey, I got that. Use hairspray. Hairspray gets out ink stains. I knew that. I'm the expert, right? But I didn't know why. I sought Google, my resident expert, and I learned it was the alcohol. So even though you know something, you can always know something more. And that's kind of the beauty of owning your own expertise and being confident and strong enough to reach out and do that next step, and by learning more. Now, in your own expertise, I kind of want to stay into that because that's that whole empowerment piece of knowing that you're the expert and owning it and not being afraid to share what you know. Because this is the other thing that women have a tendency to do. First of all, we don't toot our own horns. We don't own our own expertise. And we also tend to be a little bit shy about offering up to others what we know because we don't want to be bossy. We want to be liked. We want to be nice. Isn't that true? We want to be nice. And nice girls don't just jump out there and tell everybody what they know. I want you to change that. It's not obnoxious to say, I am an expert at. I'm sure none of you watching this, when I said I'm an expert at fitness, went, I don't like her anymore. What an obnoxious person. No. You said, oh, that's nice. But I bet when I asked you to say, what are you an expert at? That you went, I'm not an expert. I don't know. Own what you're an expert at. Put it out there and then share that expertise with others. That's that next step. Sharing with others. Offering, whether you're offering yourself up as a teacher, a guru, or a master, offering yourself up. No, you don't have to throw yourself in somebody's face. No, you don't have to go beat down their door and tell them about laundry and tell them that it's the alcohol, not really the hairspray. It's not about that, but it's about not being afraid to say what you know and not being afraid to share what you know. It's not obnoxious. It's helpful. Now, I do understand there's fine lines on that. No, you don't necessarily want to run up to somebody and just start dumping out information, but you can always, I promise, find ways of offering yourself up for that kind of service. Whether it's at work, I'll take that project. I can do that. Whether it's a community service, PTO, church, whatever. Hey, I am an expert at organizing. I will run that. I can do PowerPoint. I'm an expert at PowerPoint. Let me do that. I love Excel spreadsheets. I'm an expert at that. I'll take that piece. It's offering your expertise when necessary, when appropriate. Parenting can be a tough one. Weight loss can be a tough one because we don't just walk up to people on the street and be like, oh, let me help you. But there are very kind ways of offering your expertise to people who are in need. Don't be afraid to be the teacher. Don't be afraid to be the guru, and don't be afraid to be the master. Think about when you call your friends what you're doing. You're doing it all. That's what the true friendship connection is about. A while back, I did a show on friendship, female friendship in particular, but friendship for everybody, and how real friends challenge each other, and how real friends don't really take flack from each other, in that they challenge each other. And if somebody is saying something really wacky and it's going really off base, a good friend says, hey, that's not normal for you. What's going on? This feels weird. A bad friend doesn't call you out on your stuff. A good friend calls you out on your stuff because they care about you and they want you to grow and they want you to be healthy, happy, whole, and complete. They don't want you going down some really weird track and then getting in trouble or getting hurt or anything like that. A true friend challenges you in the way a teacher will challenge you. No, don't do these steps, do these. Or in the way a guru will challenge you. Keep going, get up. This is the tough part. This part of the journey is the hardest. Keep going. It'll get easier, I promise, but we're not stopping here. Or a master. Why are you doing this? Why do you want enlightenment? Why do you want weight loss? Why do you want relationship? What is it that you want? We need to be challenged. It's so easy to get stuck in our little box and to not move. Now, I want to talk about the brain in terms of all of this and what's really going on inside. So this is master level. This is integrating everything. When we are kids, we're in school. As babies, part of the reason I brought up parenting and that never-ending changing thing, Babies are growing and changing all the time. Toddlers are growing and changing all the time. You've got the motor skills. You've got the language skills. You've got the cognitive skills. Then you go into school and you start learning math and reading and colors and shapes and how to be friends and how to do recess and how to. Kids are learning all the time. Every single year, there's new classes. They're going more in depth. The learning is just off the charts from birth through high school, through college. There's constant learning. You're learning sports, you're learning music, you're learning academic things. Think about all the things that you learn as a kid. So here's your kid years, and they're huge. But what happens when you're an adult? We want to settle down. We want to have a career job. We want to have a house, a family. What we're asking for is to narrow ourselves. And it's not bad to settle down. It's not bad to learn your job. But think what's going on in the brain. When you're young and you're in that learning phase, new neural connections, new neural pathways are being formed all the time. Your brain can't think the same thing over and over and over and over because it's always being challenged. You're learning a little bit about geography, then a little bit more about geography, then you're learning about the language and then the culture, and you learn math and you get the math facts, but then it goes into higher level and higher level. You're constantly challenging those neural connections, those neural pathways in the brain. So the brain is very fluid. The brain is it's easy to learn, it's easy to change, it's easy to grow. You're doing a lot of great stuff, and that learning is easy. I'm not sure if you ever learned an instrument when you were a kid, but it's easier than learning it as an adult. Or if you learn a language, when that part of the brain is already fluid and soft because you're already learning your primary language, it's easier to learn a secondary language because the brain is already moldable and flexible and soft at that time. So it's easier to put in a second language and a third language. Once the brain kind of hardens because we've learned our primary language, it's way more challenging to learn a second or a third language. If you're learning a second language and you're stimulating that part of the brain, go ahead and learn a third and a fourth and a fifth because you've gotten that brain softened up. In the blog that I wrote about this, I said to think about your brain as a lump of Play-Doh. If you've been squishing your Play-Doh around, it stays soft and you can form it into if you let that Play-Doh leave it overnight, it gets hard. It gets all crusty around the outside, all salty, and it gets hard and it forms. And eventually, if you make your little Play-Doh sculpture and you just set it down, it completely hardens. You need to add water and you need to really soften. And sometimes it comes back and sometimes it doesn't. And even when it does come back, it's never that super soft consistency that it was in the beginning. So your brain is like Play-Doh. As long as you're moving it and stimulating it, keeping it soft and malleable, you can learn. Once you settle down, once you get your job, pretty soon you know what you're doing. You do the same thing every single day. You drive the same route every single day. You have the same relationships every single day. You watch the same TV shows every single day. You do all of these things every single day. Your brain starts to harden. And then something happens like they restructure at work or you need a new job. And what happens? You panic. I don't want to learn all of this. I was comfortable and now I have to learn new people and new things and I don't want to do it. It's hard. It's hard because it's like adding water and squishing that Play-Doh around. It's hard because you let your brain harden. But if you keep your brain at least a little soft and flexible, you're way more adaptable to change because the brain is already soft. And that's the value of constantly working with a teacher, constantly working with an expert, constantly working with a guru. It keeps your brain moving because you're constantly being challenged. And like I said, even friends, a true friend will challenge you. A true friend will offer you more. A true friend will poke at some of your beliefs and see if they make sense or not. Not to be obnoxious, but to help you think, to help you process. So when you're constantly working with people, you're constantly keeping the brain soft and flexible. So when changes happen, which they will, because this is life and life is never static, you're much more easily adaptable. You can roll with the punches better. Have you ever met those people who are like, yeah, whatever, new car, new house, new job, new relationships, whatever, they just kind of roll with it? It's because they have been in that brain state probably their whole life. They're constantly reading, they're constantly reevaluating their beliefs, they're constantly seeking out new company, new people. The brain is soft. The brain is flexible, the brain is adaptable. So then change is not a panicked situation. Change is something else to do. It's not, my relationship changed. What am I going to do? My job changed. What am I going to do? It's okay because their brains are soft. What kind of a person are you? What do you think of change? If change is a little scary and a little bit intimidating, I challenge you to work more, to find that teacher, to find that master, to find that guru. And that teacher, master, guru doesn't actually have to be in the form of a person. You can find a book, you can find DVDs, you can find online classes. There are so many ways to enrich yourself and to challenge the way you think. But just do more. Because the more you do, the more comfortable you are going to become with the concept of change, because your brain is soft and you know you can adapt. And then eventually you get to the point where you're like, yeah, fun challenge. I can do that. No problem. Change. Perfect. Because, as you know, change happens all the time. There is not one thing you or anybody else can do to ensure that things stay the same. Sadly, people die. They get sick. Jobs change. The economy changes. The world changes. Natural disasters happen. Things change every single day. And if we know that life is ever changing, doesn't it make sense to keep our brains in a state of being able to adapt comfortably and quickly to that change? Because I don't know about you, but I would rather flow with life and have it be an exciting adventure than have it be, not again. Oh my gosh, I can't do that. Not now. I'd rather live in that state of looking forward to the change and rolling with it than trying to deflect it and trying to keep everything the same. And maybe that's just me, but to me, that makes it a lot more comfortable and a lot more fun. And this is that master level stuff again, because I want to have a fun, easy life. I want to keep my brain soft and flexible. In order to keep my brain soft and flexible, I know I have to challenge myself. In order to challenge myself, I know I need to work with other people who have completely different expectations, life experiences, beliefs, ideas, because I know that's what's going to challenge my own brain. And by challenging it, it keeps it soft. By keeping it soft, I'm able to adapt. By being able to adapt, I can just float through life and have a heck of a lot of fun and not be stressed out when something disruptive happens. I don't even want to say bad, but disruptive. Like my kids growing up. Like in 1 year dealing with a 3-year-old and in 2 more years dealing with a 5-year-old. That's constant change. Relationships too, whether they're friendships or romantic relationships, they always change every single day. Even the relationship with yourself changes every single day. So that's that master level. That's why I do what I do. I do what I do because I want to be happy and comfortable. How am I going to be happy and comfortable? By challenging myself in the moment, by experiencing some temporary discomfort in the moment to keep my brain soft, adding water, squishing that Play-Doh around, really squishing it if it's too hard, challenging myself. Because in the long run, it's going to make things easier. And having that master level perspective helps. Having gurus helps. I know people who have done what I do. I like to look at them. I like to see what they've done well, what's been a challenge. I like teachers. I really like online stuff. There's so many great programs online. It's kind of crazy. You can literally Google anything and you can find videos. You can find text. You can find classes. You can find workbooks on anything in the world. And it's so easy to do because you can do it at 2 in the morning when you can't sleep. You can do it when you get to work. You can do it right before you leave work. It's not that you necessarily have an appointment with somebody, although sometimes it's really good to have an appointment with somebody because then you're committed to it and then you're paying for it. And there's really something to be said about paying for something. Because, like for me, I charge people whether they show up or not, unless they give me 24 hours. But you'd be surprised how many people wouldn't come if they knew they weren't going to have to pay me. They make an appointment with me in that moment of, oh my gosh, I need help and I need change and this is going to be great, because they're kind of in that moment of crisis. And then things back off a little bit and they want to cancel. But if they're committed, they show up and they get the benefit. So that's why it's important sometimes to work with somebody, because they will hold you to it and they'll be like, no, that did not just blow over. Maybe it blew over, but it didn't really blow over. The energy is still there. Something's still going on. We still need to talk. And then the change happens and then it's pretty amazing. So, online stuff. It doesn't really matter what you do to keep your brain fresh. But what I'd like to encourage you to do, just to see how it feels, is come up with something that you feel strongly about. Our beliefs are thoughts that we think repeatedly. Because we think those thoughts repeatedly, they become a belief. So just like I said, I want you to say, I am an expert at, and say something. I want you to think about a belief. I believe that. And I don't care what it is. It can be, I believe in an afterlife. It can be, I believe that we all need friends. It can be, I believe that good parents do this. I believe, here's a trigger one. Here's a trigger one. I believe that money is the root of all evil. That's a trigger for a lot of people. I don't believe that. I so don't believe that. I believe money can be used for good. I believe money is a fantastic energy exchange. Say your belief. Think about what your belief is. And again, controversial is fine. I believe, let me think of some good controversial ones. I believe that stay-at-home moms are lazy. I believe that working moms are not the best moms. Whatever it is, whether it's a fiery, controversial thing like those that I came up, that I don't believe either of those, I don't believe either of those. Say your belief, state your belief. Then I want you to Google information that opposes that belief. I'm not asking you to change your belief. I'm asking you to keep your brain soft. So if the belief is, I believe in an afterlife, Google things that say there is no afterlife. There's no support for that. Google it and just read it and just feel your brain go, ah. It will help you either get stronger in your own beliefs, or it might expand your thinking. So then suddenly you're thinking, let me think about that a little bit differently. If you believe, and this is, again, these are not my beliefs, I'm just saying them. If you believe that working women are horrible parents, Google articles about the benefits of working moms on kids. Read some studies. Challenge yourself. I'm not asking you to believe them. I'm asking you to expand yourself. If you have beliefs about body size, body shape, whatever it is, Google just the opposite. Politics is always a fun one. Hot button issues, Google the other side. Read the other side. Suspend a judgment enough. Don't read things with an eye of countering them, if that makes sense. Don't read things and in your head constantly be thinking, yeah, but, well, that's not true, but, well, the argument against that. Read that with an open mind and feel your brain shift. Feel your brain get soft. That's adding water and squishing the Play-Doh around. There is this concept that, and I love it, the mark of real intelligence is being able to hear every single different opinion and not adopting any of them. Assimilating the different pieces from the different sources of information and coming up with your own opinion. You already know what you think. You already know the reasons behind your belief. And maybe you don't. Sometimes we hold beliefs to be true. And then when we start picking them apart, we're like, why do I think that? I have no idea why I think that. Maybe I read it. Maybe my parents told me I should think it. I don't know why I believe that. So think about why you believe your beliefs. If there's reasons, yes, you know your reasons. If there are no reasons, try to find some reasons. Why? Why? Always ask yourself why. I believe having 8 hours of sleep is normal. Why? Because I read somewhere that we need 8 hours of sleep? Okay. Do you need 8 hours of sleep? If you are able to sleep and there's no alarms, how long will you sleep? Is it 8 hours? Is it 6? Is it 10? What is right for you? Challenge yourself on all of your beliefs. Start noticing your beliefs. It's good to do this. It's good to have a job. Education is good. Why is it good? My son recently graduated from high school, and one of the teachers gave a speech at the graduation ceremony. And it was fantastic. There was a ton of valedictorians, tons of super smart kids at school. And he said, I honor all the valedictorians. I honor all the academics. I commend everybody for doing that. But he said, all of the other kids who are doing trade school, who will be mechanics, who will be technicians, he said, every valedictorian here will need a mechanic. Every one of you will need a mechanic. But not every one of you will need a valedictorian. And there was a lot of truth in that. We need everything. We need a wide variety in this world. What are your beliefs? And why? Why do you believe it's better to be a valedictorian than to be a mechanic, if that's your belief? Ask yourself why. There's no right, there's no wrong. You might say, oh, gosh, I just always was taught to value education and that if you didn't have it in you, you were somehow subpar. It's not really a valid belief. Or it could be that, you know what? It's the higher level thinking that changes the world, and we really need to change the world, and that's where my belief comes from. There's no right, there's no wrong. Just notice your belief and ask yourself why you hold it. Then, here's the kicker. Ask yourself, what if that's not true? What if that's not true? If you say, I believe it's best to stay home with children, ask yourself, and what if that's not true? And follow it through. Don't just be like, yeah, well, it's not. Follow it through. What if that's not true? If I believe it's best to stay home with kids, and I stayed home with kids, and it turns out not to be true, maybe it means I sacrificed unnecessarily. Maybe it meant I was selfish and I did it for me and not them, my enjoyment of being with them, as opposed to their benefiting. Maybe it means we'll have to work harder now that they're older in changing their beliefs about women. What would that mean? And again, I'm just kind of making things up. I'm just kind of thinking things through. And that's the whole point. You don't have to come up with brilliant answers. And if you want to work it through with a guru, if you want to work it through with a teacher, if you want to work it through with a master, that brainstorming, or with a friend, that brainstorming can really help you, because it can get you moving deeper and it can get you outside of your own thoughts and kind of get that whole, thing flowing. So that is my challenge to you. Think about your beliefs. Ask yourself why. Ask what if that's not true. Find teachers, masters, gurus. Find other people to work with, friends, and talk to keep that brain flexible. So you will be able to change and adapt comfortably and happily as everything changes around you. So I hope this has given you something to think about. Googling opposite beliefs, asking yourself, what if that's not true? I hope it's given you some things to think about. I hope your brain hurts just a little bit. Stand in your own power. Claim your expertise. We're all experts at something. Claim it and share it. And don't be apologetic about it. If you've lived on earth, you are an expert. Own it. Share it. Challenge it. And have fun with it. Because ultimately, we all really want to have a fun life. Ultimately, we all want to feel good. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, if you want to reach out, you can reach out through the station, through Dream Vision 7 Radio Network. You can reach out to me, Lora, at pyramidfusion.com. You can go to my website, pyramidfusion.com. You can also text me. I like texts, 303-994-4945. In the meantime, I want you to have a fantastic, wonderful, challenge-filled week. Challenge yourself, challenge others to challenge you. Ask your friends to challenge you. Challenge yourself. What if that's not true? Claim your expertise, challenge, work with other people, expand, and get that brain really super soft. You have a fantastic, wonderful week. And as usual, don't forget to flaunt. Bye-bye.